Hello. So this video is part of my 100 Montessori activities for the 3 to 6-year-olds to work on at home. And I would like you to check out the previous video, which will give you an understanding of the 3 to 6-year-old and their style of working and learning. I've made a decision to keep these videos shorter and more regular. So now you can look forward to videos from this channel every Monday and every Thursday. So that's going to be Montessori Mondays and Teacher Thursdays. Yay! Those were my chosen alliterations. Anyways, each of these videos will have 5 activities around a certain skill set which was earlier mentioned. So let's talk about an amazing skill set today that very young children have that we take for granted. At 1 year and a half, a baby is able to recognize nearly 50 words in the language that is predominantly alive in his environment. And within a span of 6 years or so, children are able to add around 12,000 more words to their vocabulary. That's phenomenal. And if your child has multiple languages alive in his environment, for example, a mother tongue and another language is spoken and introduced at school and by others, then the rate of learning just goes through the roof. This is possible because of the absorbent mind of a child, a very young child. An adult does not possess this ability to retain everything that they see around them. This is because there is always a previous memory, right, for adults to which we associate new concepts. For example, even if you're taken miles away from wherever you are right now, you adapt to the new surroundings using your previous experiences. This is completely different for a very young child. Like a camera, his mind just stores information as it is. These images are like the first strokes of a brush on paper, untouched, undisturbed, and they remain there for ages under layers of paint, so much so that we don't even remember what was the first thing that had been painted. Therefore, it is crucial that we make use of this fertile mind, because children pick up words and associate it with objects and concepts very early. In fact, the only question that will be on a 2 to 5-year-old's lips will be, what is that? Not why or how, but just what is that? Just give them a name then, and they stick to that name and they use it for several years later. The question then for the adult in that case is, what kind of words can we introduce to the child? The answer is anything, okay? So, have you heard the complicated names and surnames that Indian children have? If they can say names like this at the age of 3, then you can very well expect that their lips can form the words parallelogram or chrysanthemum, which is a type of flower. So, how do we help in this endeavor? Well, apart from the activities that I've been suggesting in this video and I'll be suggesting on my Instagram page, do read out stories, sing a lot of songs, have plenty of conversations about seemingly mundane things in your day, like taking a bath. Have a conversation on that. However, there is one well-known Montessori activity that is perfect for introducing any new concept, especially words. So this is called the name lesson, and it consists of 3 periods which follow each other pretty quickly. These 3 periods are namely the introduction, the identification or recognition, and cognition or remembering the word. For toddlers and 3 to 4-year-olds, let's start out with concrete objects and clear pictures if you're not having concrete objects, which do not confuse the child. Now let's look at the activity that I was telling you about, the 3-period name lesson. So I have a very special helper here, Ashwin, who's gonna be my child today and help me show the name lesson, which consists of 3 periods. The first period would be to introduce the words or the concept. For example, this is a hammer. This is a spanner. This is a screwdriver. So it's important to be clear and specific, and as you can see, these are all objects which are concrete, and I just have 3 to 4 of them. Now this is something that many parents and teachers do on a day-to-day basis in conversations. For example, you point at a car and you say, hey, this is a car, can you see the car? Can you see the crow, etc. So we'll move on to the next period of the name lesson, which is immediate and follows the first lesson. This is something that is, however, generally overlooked. We tend to go straight to the recalling, which is testing the memory. So let's see how this goes. It's called identification or recognition. Initially, we start simple. Could you point to the spanner? For toddlers, this is pretty much it, and unless they're verbally talking, don't move on to the next one. For a slightly older child, we can add in simple instructions. For example, could you take the screwdriver and place it behind your back? Thank you. Could you place it back here? Could you take the spanner and lift it up? Thank you. Place it back. Simple instructions like this would be great. Cognition is the third period, is when we test their memory and we see if they remember the word or the concept introduced. It's a very simple suggestive sentence, for example. So, this is a
hammer,
this is a
spanner,
this is a
screwdriver.
Okay. So, thank you, and then we just let them look at the work or we put it away. And in case they don't remember it at this point, it's perfectly alright to start right from the first. And there you go. That's the beautiful 3-period name lesson, which can be used with anything, be it numbers, continents, shapes, classified pictures around wild animals, fruits and vegetables, transport, etc. And especially for very young 3-year-olds, just start with objects around them. For example, the floor, the walls, the door, etc. So thank you, Ashwin, for helping out.
Welcome.
So that was the 3-period name lesson, and apart from these, check out the activities that are there in this video, and you can find these activities on my Instagram account at @ITeachILearn, I_teach_I_learn, or you can also check it out on the Facebook page at ad.id, You can try out these activities and you can let me know what you think, but most importantly, please share it with someone who you think this might really help if they're at home and with their children. So let me know what you think. Bye.
Good old show and tell. Make this a family activity. Pick up a household object and talk about it as much as you want to. Similarly, talk about the food you eat, the ingredients that went into it, etc. Choose a topic, say the beach or the hospital. Let everyone come up with one word related to the topic. Go on until someone runs out of words. Working from home is still a way to increase your child's vocabulary as you work. Find a lovely audiobook and let your child draw or paint as they listen to it. Leave them with some ground rules about interacting with you while this happens. For example, saying excuse me, using a waiting hand, waiting for your office call to finish, etc. If your child is super attracted to trains, cars, dolls, or even whales, let him or her be introduced to every kind of whale or whatever. Google up those pictures and names and let them browse the encyclopedia for interesting pictures. Knowing paleontologist Barbie or astronaut Barbie won't hurt their vocabulary. And hey, knowing what a sperm whale looks like is actually considered cool at age 6. Hide and speak, my favorite activity. The child hides an object in a basket and covers it with a cloth. He or she then gives clues to the sibling or the adult about the object hidden without revealing the name. The other person has to guess the object and check if they're right.